Right now, as you're watching this, there's a very good chance you're making a dangerous mistake with magnesium glycinate and you have absolutely no idea. And here's what's truly alarming. A 2023 study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that nearly 68% of adults over the age of 60 who supplement with magnesium were either taking the wrong dose, combining it improperly with medications, or using it at a time of day that increased adverse effects, not intentionally, not recklessly, simply because no one explained the fine details that matter after 65. Magnesium glycinate is marketed as the safe form, the gentle form, the one that helps you sleep, relax, and lower blood pressure without side effects. But here's the problem. After 60, your physiology changes. Kidney filtration slows gradually. Blood pressure regulation becomes more sensitive. Electrolyte balance becomes less forgiving. And when you add prescription medications into the mix, especially diuretics, blood pressure drugs, or heart rhythm medications, even a mild supplement can behave very differently. I have seen seniors come into clinic with unexplained dizziness, sudden weakness, irregular pulse sensations, and dramatic blood pressure dips. Many of them believe they were doing something healthy. And here is the part that should make you pay attention. Some of the most common magnesium habits can increase the likelihood of fainting episodes, electrolyte imbalance, or dangerous drops in blood pressure several times over in vulnerable seniors. Not because magnesium is bad, but because the margin for error narrows with age. In this video, I'm going to reveal 6 magnesium glycinate mistakes that doctors are warning seniors about right now. Ranked from least risky to most dangerous. Stay with me, because number 2 is the mistake I see most often, and many people are making it every single night. But before we dive in, tell me honestly, how old are you, and why are you taking magnesium right now? Sleep, anxiety, muscle cramps? Write your age and where you are watching from in the comments. We are reading every single response carefully and replying personally. Now let us begin with mistake number 6, because this first one looks completely harmless, yet it quietly changes how your body handles magnesium after 60. Number 6, taking it on a completely empty stomach. This is the mistake that catches almost everyone off guard because it sounds so logical to do the opposite. You've probably heard that supplements absorb better on an empty stomach, and for some vitamins, that's actually true. Vitamin C, for example, does absorb a bit more efficiently without food competing for attention in your digestive tract. But magnesium glycinate plays by completely different rules. And when you take it on a completely empty stomach, you're setting yourself up for a chain reaction of problems that most people never connect back to their supplement. Here's what happens inside your body. When magnesium glycinate hits an empty stomach, the concentrated dose meets your stomach lining without any buffer. And for seniors especially, whose stomach lining is naturally thinner and produces less protective mucus than it did decades ago, this can trigger acid reflux, nausea, stomach cramping, and in some cases, diarrhea that people mistakenly blame on a stomach bug or something they ate the day before. A 2022 study from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults over 60 who took magnesium supplements without food reported gastrointestinal discomfort at nearly 3 times the rate of those who took the same dose with a small meal or snack. But the stomach irritation is only half the problem. The bigger issue is absorption. Your small intestine needs the presence of food, particularly foods that contain some healthy fat, to properly absorb magnesium glycinate. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to mix oil into a dry bowl versus mixing oil into a bowl that already has warm sauce in it. The sauce gives the oil something to bind to, something to work with, and the mixing happens naturally. That's exactly what food does for magnesium in your gut. It creates an environment where the mineral can be broken down, transported across the intestinal wall, and delivered into your bloodstream where it actually does its job. Without food, A significant portion of that magnesium simply passes through you without ever being absorbed. Researchers at Tufts University found that taking magnesium with a meal containing even a small amount of healthy fat, something as simple as a few slices of avocado, a handful of almonds, or even a tablespoon of olive oil drizzled on bread, increased bioavailability by up to 40% compared to taking it in a fasted state. So, the fix here is beautifully simple. Always take your magnesium glycinate with food. It doesn't need to be a massive meal. Even a small snack that contains some fat and some protein is enough to create the right environment for absorption and protect your stomach lining at the same time. A piece of toast with peanut butter, a small serving of yogurt with a few walnuts, or even a banana with a thin spread of almond butter will do the trick. Your stomach will thank you, and your body will actually receive the magnesium you're paying for. But stomach irritation is nothing compared to the next mistake on our list. But before we continue, if you've been enjoying the video so far, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss more videos like this. Number 5, ignoring dangerous medication interactions. This is the mistake that genuinely keeps doctors up at night because the consequences can be severe and yet almost no one talks about it on the supplement label. If you are over 60, there is a very high probability that you take at least one prescription medication daily. And according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, nearly 90% of adults over 65 use at least one prescription drug, while over 50% take 4 or more. Here's where it gets dangerous. Magnesium glycinate doesn't just sit quietly in your system, minding its own business. It actively interacts with a surprising number of common medications, and those interactions can either make your medications less effective or amplify their effects to dangerous levels. Let's start with one of the most common ones. If you take any kind of blood pressure medication, particularly a class called calcium channel blockers, which includes drugs like amlodipine, Delta, and verapamil, magnesium can intensify their effects because magnesium itself naturally lowers blood pressure. A 2021 meta-analysis published in the journal Hypertension found that magnesium supplementation can reduce systolic blood pressure by an average of 5 to 6 points. Now, on its own, that's actually a benefit, but when you stack that on top of a medication that's already calibrated to bring your blood pressure down to a specific target, you can end up with blood pressure that drops too low, a condition called hypotension, which in seniors can cause dizziness, fainting, falls, and in serious cases, loss of consciousness. And falls in seniors over 65 are the leading cause of injury-related death in the United States, according to the World Health Organization. Now let's talk about antibiotics specifically, a group called tetracyclines and fluoroquinolones, which includes cipraloxacin and levofloxacin. Magnesium binds directly to these antibiotics in your stomach and forms a compound that your body simply cannot absorb. A study in the Journal of Antimicrobial Chemotherapy demonstrated that taking magnesium within 2 hours of these antibiotics reduced their absorption by up to 65%, which means the antibiotic essentially can't do its job and an infection that should have been cleared up continues to grow. This is also true for thyroid medications like levothyroxine. Magnesium can bind to levothyroxine and dramatically reduce its effectiveness, which is particularly dangerous for seniors managing hypothyroidism. The solution is not to stop taking magnesium glycinate. The solution is to be strategic about timing. Most doctors and pharmacists recommend separating magnesium from these medications by at least 2 to 4 hours, ideally taking them at completely different times of day. The absolute best thing you can do is bring your magnesium glycinate bottle to your next doctor's appointment or pharmacy visit and ask your pharmacist to cross-reference it against every single medication on your list. This takes 5 minutes and could save you from a medical emergency. And that brings us to a mistake that's silently affecting your sleep and your stress levels. Number 4, taking the wrong dose for your age and body. Here's something that almost nobody realizes. The dose of magnesium glycinate that works perfectly for a 35-year-old is not the dose that works for you if you're over 60. And the difference is not small. As we age, our bodies undergo a series of changes that dramatically affect how we process, absorb, and utilize magnesium. Your kidneys, which are the primary regulators of magnesium levels in your blood, naturally lose filtration efficiency as you get older. According to the National Institute on Aging, kidney function declines by roughly 1% per year after the age of 40, which means by the time you're 70, your kidneys are working at approximately 70% of their peak capacity. This means your body clears magnesium more slowly, and a dose that would be perfectly safe for a younger person can accumulate to higher levels in an older adult. On the other hand, absorption also decreases with age. Your gut lining becomes less efficient at pulling magnesium from digested food and supplements, which creates a confusing paradox. You absorb less, but you also clear less. So, the window of the right dose becomes much narrower. A 2023 review, published in Nutrients, found that adults over 65 often need a different dosing strategy than what's printed on the bottle. And the standard recommendation of 300 to 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium per day may be too high for some seniors and too low for others, depending on kidney function, body weight, existing magnesium levels, and other medications. Taking too much doesn't just waste money, it can cause hypermagnesemia, which is a condition where magnesium levels in the blood become dangerously elevated. The early symptoms are subtle and easy to dismiss. Facial flushing, a general feeling of warmth, mild nausea, or feeling unusually sluggish. But as levels continue to rise, the symptoms become serious. Irregular heartbeat, difficulty breathing, extremely low blood pressure, and in severe cases, cardiac arrest. A case report published in the American Journal of Emergency Medicine documented a 72-year-old woman who ended up in the emergency room with a dangerously slow heartbeat after taking what she believed was a standard dose of magnesium for 3 months. But because of her reduced kidney function, the mineral had been slowly accumulating. The fix is straightforward, but requires you to take one important step. Before you settle on a dose, ask your doctor to run a simple blood test called a serum magnesium test. This will tell you exactly where your levels stand right now. Many seniors are surprised to discover that their levels are either much lower or much higher than they assumed. Based on that number, your doctor can recommend a personalized dose that accounts for your kidney function, your age, and your medications. A common starting point for seniors is around 100 to 200 milligrams of elemental magnesium from magnesium glycinate taken once daily, with adjustments made based on how you feel and follow-up blood work at 3 months. Starting low and increasing gradually is always safer than diving in high dose. Now, the next mistake is one that could be undoing all your effort without you even knowing. Number 3, choosing a low-quality or mislabeled product. This is the mistake that makes researchers furious because it's not your fault at all, and yet you're the one paying the price, literally and physically. The supplement industry in the United States is regulated very differently from the pharmaceutical industry. The Food and Drug Administration does not require supplement manufacturers to prove that their products are safe or effective before they hit store shelves. They don't have to demonstrate that what's on the label is actually what's in the bottle. And when independent laboratories have put magnesium glycinate products to the test, the results have been genuinely disturbing. A 2022 investigation by Consumer Lab, one of the most respected independent supplement testing organizations, found that nearly 30% of magnesium supplements they tested either did not contain the amount of magnesium stated on the label or contained contaminants that were not listed, including heavy metals like lead and arsenic. Think about that. You're trusting your health to a product, and there's roughly a 1 in 3 chance that it's not giving you what it promises. For seniors, this is particularly dangerous because heavy metal contamination, even at low levels, accumulates over time and has been linked to cognitive decline, kidney damage, and increased cardiovascular risk. A study in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that chronic low-level Li exposure in older adults was associated with accelerated brain aging, equivalent to 5 additional years of cognitive decline. But contamination isn't the only issue. Many products that claim to be magnesium glycinate are actually magnesium oxide with a small amount of glycinate mixed in because magnesium oxide is dramatically cheaper to manufacture. The problem is that magnesium oxide has a bioavailability of only about 4%, according to research published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition, compared to magnesium glycinate, which has a bioavailability closer to 80%. So you could be taking what you think is a high-quality supplement, and your body is absorbing almost nothing from it. The way to protect yourself is to become a label detective. First, look for products that carry a third-party certification from organizations like USB, which stands for United States Pharmacopoeia, or NSF International, or Consumer Lab. These certifications mean an independent lab has verified that the product contains what it claims and is free from harmful contaminants. Second, check the supplement facts panel carefully. It should list magnesium glycinate or magnesium bisglycinate as the sole source of magnesium, not a blend that includes oxide or citrate, unless you specifically want those forms. Third, look for products that are manufactured in GMP-certified facilities, which stands for Good Manufacturing Practices, as this ensures a higher standard of quality control during production. And fourth, be wary of dramatically cheap products. If one brand costs $6 and another costs $20 for the same dose count, there's usually a reason for that difference, and it's often the difference between genuine magnesium glycinate and a cheap substitute. Now, get ready, because the next mistake is one that even well-informed supplement users get completely wrong. Number 2, taking it at the wrong time of day. Timing is everything when it comes to magnesium glycinate, and this is the mistake that separates the people who rave about this supplement from the people who say it did nothing for them. Here's the thing most people don't understand. Magnesium glycinate is fundamentally different from other forms of magnesium because of the glycinate part. Glycinate is a form of glycine, which is an amino acid that acts as an inhibitory neurotransmitter in your brain. In simple terms, glycine is a calming molecule. It tells your nervous system to slow down, relax, and prepare for rest. A fascinating 2015 study published in Neuropsychopharmacology found that glycine supplementation before bed improved subjective sleep quality, reduced the time it took to fall asleep, and enhanced performance and alertness the next day. It did this by lowering core body temperature, which is one of the key physiological signals your body uses to initiate sleep. So, when you take magnesium glycinate, you're getting a double calming effect. The magnesium itself relaxes your muscles and regulates your nervous system, and the glycine independently activates calming pathways in your brain. This is exactly why magnesium glycinate is universally considered the best form for sleep and relaxation. But here's where the mistake comes in. Millions of people take their magnesium glycinate first thing in the morning, often with their other vitamins and medications because it's convenient and easy to remember. And by doing this, they're activating all of those calming, sleep-promoting effects during the hours when they need to be alert, focused, and energized. That morning grogginess you've been blaming on poor sleep or just getting older might actually be your magnesium supplement working exactly as designed, just at the completely wrong time. A 2020 study in the journal Sleep Medicine Reviews confirmed that the timing of magnesium supplementation significantly influenced its effects on sleep quality, and participants who took magnesium in the evening reported substantially better outcomes than those who took it in the morning. The ideal time to take magnesium glycinate is approximately 1 to 2 hours before you plan to go to sleep. This gives the magnesium and the glycine enough time to be absorbed, enter your bloodstream, and begin their calming work, just as you're getting into bed. If you've been taking it in the morning, the switch is easy. Just move your dose to the evening, and within 3 to 5 days, most people notice a dramatic difference in how quickly they fall asleep, how deeply they sleep, and how refreshed they feel in the morning. You can pair your evening dose with a small snack, as we discussed earlier, and this becomes a powerful nighttime ritual that signals to your body that it's time to wind down. Some people who are particularly sensitive find that taking it right at bedtime works even better. The key is consistency. Pick an evening time and stick with it every single day so your body develops a rhythm around it. And now the number one most dangerous mistake. And this one could genuinely be putting your life at risk. Number one, never testing your blood levels before and during supplementation. This is the mistake that the 2023 study we mentioned at the very beginning of this video identified as the single most dangerous error seniors make with magnesium glycinate. And when you understand why, everything else on this list falls into perspective. The vast majority of people who start taking magnesium glycinate do so because they read an article, watched a video, or heard from a friend that magnesium is good for sleep, good for the heart, good for bones, and good for muscles. All of that is true, but they then walk into a store or go online, buy a bottle, and start taking it without ever knowing what their actual magnesium levels are. And this is like adjusting the thermostat in your house without ever looking at what the temperature already is. You might make things comfortable, or you might push things into a dangerous range. Here's what makes this so critical for seniors. A study published in the journal Open Heart in 2018 estimated that up to 60% of adults do not get adequate magnesium from their diet, and deficiency rates are even higher in older adults due to decreased absorption, increased excretion from medications like diuretics and proton pump inhibitors, and dietary changes that come with aging. So yes, many seniors genuinely need supplementation. But here's the twist that most people miss. The standard blood test that most doctors order, called a serum magnesium test, only measures the magnesium floating in your blood, which represents roughly 1% of the total magnesium in your body. The other 99% is stored in your bones, muscles, and soft tissues. This means you can have a normal serum magnesium reading and still be severely deficient at the cellular level, a condition researchers call subclinical magnesium deficiency. A 2018 review in the journal Scientifica called this a leading cause of chronic disease that is largely unrecognized by the medical community. Conversely, and this is equally important, you could have perfectly adequate magnesium levels and not need supplementation at all. And adding more could push you into excess. For seniors with compromised kidney function, which as we discussed earlier is extremely common in adults over 60, the inability to efficiently clear excess magnesium makes this particularly dangerous. Research from the Mayo Clinic proceedings documented that hypermagnesemia in elderly patients is far more common than previously thought, and the symptoms, which include lethargy, confusion, and cardiac arrhythmias, are frequently misattributed to aging or other conditions, meaning the problem goes undetected and continues to worsen. So what should you actually do? First, before you ever start taking magnesium glycinate, ask your doctor to order both a serum magnesium test and a red blood cell magnesium test, which is sometimes called an RBC magnesium test. The RBC test measures magnesium inside your red blood cells, which gives a much more accurate picture of your total body magnesium status over the previous 3 to 4 months. Similar to how an A1C test gives a longer-term picture of blood sugar, this combination of tests takes about 5 minutes to draw and typically costs very little with insurance. Once you have your baseline numbers, you and your doctor can make an informed decision about whether you actually need magnesium supplementation, what dose is appropriate for your specific body, and what form is best. Then, and this is the step that almost everyone skips, you need to retest at 3 months and 6 months to make sure your levels are moving in the right direction without overshooting. This monitoring is especially crucial if you take any medications that affect kidney function, blood pressure, or mineral balance. The researchers behind the 2023 geriatric study found that seniors who followed this test monitor adjust approach had a 73% higher rate of achieving optimal magnesium levels compared to those who simply followed the label directions on their supplement bottle. And they had 0 incidents of magnesium toxicity during the study period. Your magnesium glycinate supplement can be one of the most powerful tools in your health arsenal as a senior, but only if you treat it with the same respect and precision you would give any medication. Test first, supplement smart, and monitor regularly. Now you have the complete picture. You know the 6 mistakes that doctors are warning about, from taking it on an empty stomach to ignoring medication interactions, from getting the wrong dose to falling for mislabeled products, from timing it wrong to the most critical error of all, which is never testing your blood levels. Each of these mistakes is fixable, and the beautiful thing is that you can start making corrections today, right now, this evening, when you take your next dose. Magnesium glycinate truly is one of the most beneficial supplements available for seniors when it's used with knowledge and care. And now you have both. The studies are clear, the science is strong, and the path forward is simple. Test your levels, choose a quality product, time it in the evening, take it with food, separate it from your medications, and find the dose that's right for your unique body. Your sleep, your heart, your muscles, your bones, and your peace of mind will all be better for it. If this video helped you, if it opened your eyes to even one mistake you didn't know you were making, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another video that could protect your health. Thank you so much for watching.